we have sound on this. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me know if you have sound right now. Colorado is not making you happy, Doug. Okay, looking at the matchups on the ice. If you had Sidney Crosby over on his goals over the 2.5, let me see. Settings. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I think you guys can hear me now. Yeah, all good. Okay. Wow, I could have gone the whole show without turning on that sound. I was just updating you guys. The Washington Capitals have won the matchup over the Winnipeg Jets. Now, Sidney Crosby for the Pittsburgh Penguins has got his 2+ points as well. So if you did tail that from the Puckett Cup of Joe, lots of time in the meeting versus the Penguins and the Avs right now. 10 minutes left in the second period. You can get the Avs +1.5 at +104 on that puck line, or +265 to come back. I did think the Pittsburgh Penguins, with how dominant they have played against Colorado, were in a good spot to be able to get the win today. But Colorado +1.5 at -104 definitely has a value there. I'm glad you can hear me. I know I would have thought the same. So I apologize, one, for my sound not working today. When I forgot to turn on my soundboard. Two, because my camera is going to give you guys so many issues right now. The autofocus has come on my Sony camera, and I just have to work out how to turn that off. And it is driving me insane because I can see myself blurring and then unblurring as it tries to focus on my background over me. So let's get into the next couple of games here. I hope you guys have been enjoying March Madness this morning. We've had some great games out there on the court. Marquette able to get that win, and I tell you, that was a tight one in that. The first game we're going to talk about, though, is the New Jersey Devils. The New Jersey Devils taking on the New York Islanders. Current lines on this: the New Jersey Devils at +108. The Islanders on the second night of a back-to-back off a big win last night. I know New Jersey played yesterday as well, but you look at the Islanders winning their last game versus the Winnipeg Jets. That was a 6-3 win. They're the favorite now at -130. We have a total of 6.5, -112 to the under, and -108 to the over in this one. Sorokin is confirmed here for the New York Islanders, and I like their ability to come out nice and strong. Now, the one worrisome thing is that second night of a back-to-back hasn't been great for the Islanders. They've lost their last 10 in this situation. The New Jersey Devils, coming off the loss to the Senators last night, 5-2 at home. They've been struggling, and I just can't trust this team enough to go against the Islanders, especially with the motivation to get this win here. They're sitting 5th in the Metro, 6th in the Metro here for the New Jersey Devils. I think we can see the Islanders come out strong with Sorokin. They have the better goaltender in net. I'm just going to look at the Islanders at home, -130. I really do believe they can break this losing streak of win or not winning on the second night of a back-to-back. So I trust them the most. And when we look at the New Jersey Devils, when they're an underdog of +105 or greater, we're seeing them go 5-15 this season when in that situation. So I do think the Islanders are the right side. Not my favorite game out there on the ice. There's no goalie props as of yet, but I would be looking at Sorokin. Actually, let's just double check if we've got Sorokin now. Yeah, Sorokin coming in at 26.5. We know the Islanders can do a better job of locking down now under Patrick Roy, but I still do think Sorokin goes over the 26.5. I think that number is just too high. So I would be leaning on his prop to the over, and I'd also be leaning on the Islanders at home. The next game, more interesting here, the matchup between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, lines on this currently, if I can get back to that page on FanDuel, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs, a huge dog at +160. We know what they're able to do to the Edmonton Oilers yesterday. That was fantastic to see them get that nice big win. Now, the Carolina Hurricanes, -194 here at home. That total is 6.5, -118 to the under, and -104 to the over. If you think Carolina can cover that puck line, -1.5 is coming in at +126. Looking at this matchup, Joseph Woll should be in net here tonight for Toronto. He's got a 2.90 goals against average and a 909 save percentage. Frederik Andersen should be in net for the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, I wasn't seeing confirmations of these goalies, so we will double check it. But we look at the Toronto Maple Leafs here, and Wall has allowed 3 goals in the last 21 shots by Washington. So he didn't have a really solid time there. And then versus Boston, he allowed 4 goals on 25 shots. I do think the Capitals, with how strong this team is offensively on their home ice, should be able to find the back of Joseph Wall's net. Looking at their team total coming in at 3.5 at -116. Without Samsonov in net for Toronto, I do think Carolina has every opportunity of hitting this. My problem here is if Carolina gets up 3-0 and then just plays lockdown defense like we know they are able to do, we will see this one for them to stay under that total. But I don't think that happens. I think Carolina coming into this one off that loss to the Washington Capitals 7-6 in overtime will look to get those goals up fast and hold on to their lead. So I do like their team total over 3.5 at -116. It actually is. Now, when we look at the matchups between these two, 3 of the last 4 have gone over that total. With Frederick Anderson, he's been really solid since coming back, except for that one road game where we bet on him to have a solid performance. I do think this should be a bounce back, and that's why I'm kind of looking at him or the Canes team total to the over instead of taking this full game to the over. That being said, we know how strong the Toronto Maple Leafs can be offensively, but this is the second night of a back-to-back, and I expect their defense to allow those goals to come in as well. Okay. The Pittsburgh Penguins have got their 3rd goal on the board versus the Colorado Avalanche. So that puck line now for the Avs is +2.5 at -106. That's what I like to see out of Pittsburgh. Okay, the next game on the board, you guys, we're going to look at here. The Edmonton Oilers taking on the Ottawa Senators. So current odds on this, Edmonton coming in off the loss to Toronto yesterday. Now, looking at Edmonton in that loss, they never gave up. They were down 5-0 going into the 3rd period. And if you grab them on the puck line plus the 4.5 at +142, it was a moneymaker because Edmonton was able to score 3 goals in the 3rd period. And we did see one more come out of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So it was a 6-3 win for Toronto. Edmonton covering that live puck line. A team that always fights back. Now they're playing the Ottawa Senators tonight. Ottawa at home at +160. The Sens off the win versus the New Jersey Devils. Can we trust the Ottawa Senators? I don't think so. The Edmonton Oilers are the right side in this, but we've got to find some value. +1.5 on the Edmonton Oilers coming in at +122. The total of 6.5 at -128 to the over and +104 to the under. I'm looking at this one as a fast start in the 1st period again. We know the Edmonton Oilers love to get off to these fast starts, and after Toronto did what they did to them yesterday, Edmonton will bring that momentum from the 3rd period into the 1st period in this game. I do believe Skinner is expected, maybe Pickard. Skinner fell apart yesterday versus Toronto. We saw 5 goals on him on 23 shots on net. Then Pickard was brought in. He stopped 12 or 13 shots on him. So we'll see. I probably Skinner to get the start. It's going to be a hard one, but I do think that 1st period goal in the first 5 minutes, I expect Edmonton to be able to get that. That goal in the first 5 minutes coming in at +158. We know Edmonton's MO is really to come out strong to start these games, especially against weaker opponents like this, and get up and get that lead and then try to lock down on the defensive side. So I do think we can have that goal in the first 5 minutes. The last time we took this with Edmonton, the goal came with 5 minutes and 7 seconds into the game, so we weren't able to cash it, but I do think a fast one comes. The 1st period over 1.5 is juicy at -146, but I do think has value. And I love Edmonton on the puck line in the 1st period at +130, laying the half a goal. So I'm going to go there with that one. As for goal scorers, let's just check to see if we've got anything on goalie confirmations. We don't. Goal scorers, Zach Hyman at +125 and Leon Draisaitl coming in at +120. You know, if anyone's going to score for the Senators, it is Brady Tkachuk at +135. The Senators, it's a hard scheduling spot here for them with the win over New Jersey last night, 5-2. I think this team is due for another loss. I also don't trust Anton Forsberg in net for the Sens. He's got a 3.24 goals against average and an 8.85 save percentage. So Edmonton offensively should dominate. If you want to take their team total to the over, I love that as well. I wouldn't take the full game to the over because I do expect Edmonton to get up in this one and lock down on the Sens team total. So my best bets, the over 1.5 in the first period, Edmonton on the puck line in the first period, and then the goal in the first 5 minutes. Okay, the Florida Panthers taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. This one, 6 p.m. Eastern tonight. We have the Florida Panthers off another loss. This team is spiraling right now, losing their last 4. They're minus 164 on the money line and plus 136 here for the Philadelphia Flyers at home. You guys know I always love a home dog, but I can't get behind this one right here. We've got a total of 5.5, minus 130 to the over and plus 106 to the under. I struggle to see the Florida Panthers losing 5 in a row. They came off the game yesterday versus the New York Rangers where they lost in a shootout. That was a 4-3 loss for them. Heartbreaking loss. The Florida Panthers were able to get up first in that first period versus New York Rangers, and that's what I'm expecting them to do in this one. I'm going to take the Florida Panthers in the first period on the puck line, laying the half a goal. That's coming in at plus 146. They need to turn around this losing streak that they're on because it's not pretty, you guys. I think you look at Matthew Tkachuk for the power play point today. That's coming in at plus 120. When we look at the Florida Panthers, they are so phenomenally strong on the power play, 5th best power play overall in the league. Offensively, this team is strong. And both teams, they're allowing these shots to come in at the high danger shots. When I really look at the Philadelphia Flyers and the amount of high danger shots they've allowed as of late, I think with the Florida Panthers, this team being able to get those shots on net should be able to do so. Now, the Florida Panthers had been locking down a little bit better, but both of these teams now allowing that 27 on average shots on goal per game. I do think those shots are coming, and the Florida Panthers will be able to score. Sandstorm is expected in net here for the Philadelphia Flyers. So I don't have a lot of faith in him compared to Ergen. He's got a 4.30 goals against average and an 8.29 save percentage, and Stollard's expected here for the Florida Panthers. So his numbers are a lot stronger with a 2.02 goals against average and a 9.25. This should be a game where Florida comes out and dominates. But the problem is the Flyers have won the last 4 meetings and played the Florida Panthers hard. They've won both games this season, both in, the one in Florida in March on the 7th. So just a couple weeks ago, 2-1, and in February, 2-1. So Florida needs to bring their A game. They can't overlook the Flyers, but I don't think they will with losing their last 4 games and losing the last 4 versus the Flyers. So I do think this is one where the Florida Panthers can win that first period. Matthew Tkachuk can get the power play point. And if you want to look for a strong or a longer shot for the power play point, I like Brandon Montour to be able to get the assist on the power play. So that power play point for him coming in at plus 210. We know how solid he has been. And again, I apologize for that autofocus on my camera, you guys. I will get it fixed here right after this show. Because if it's driving you as crazy as it's driving me, I tell you, I'm ready to throw my camera. Now, when we look here at the Philadelphia Flyers, they've played Florida strong, but on the second night of a back-to-back, they've been able to keep these games tight on the second night of a back-to-back, covering that puck line, but they've lost their last 15 straight on the second night of a back-to-back as an underdog. So I don't have faith in them here. I do think the Florida Panthers are the right side. So the Florida Panthers laying the 1.5 on the puck line is plus 146. But like I said, the Flyers have kept those games tight. Minus 164 on the money line, I just can't get behind. And that's why I'm going to look at the Florida Panthers in the first period, puck line, laying the half a goal and get that plus money there. I do think, though, this would be a nice one to look at their team total to the over. Sandstorm, I have no faith in to keep this a lower scoring game. Okay, let's look at the next game. I see your comments on the overs. I wouldn't take the over unless you're just taking the Florida Panthers team total over. And I know the injuries are really hurting this team. Sandstorm, you can't trust him in goal. That is for sure. And both teams back to back 3 and 4. Yeah, we should go over that number. Thank you so much. That is so greatly appreciated. Okay, let's look at the next one here on deck. We have the Dallas Stars taking on the Arizona Coyotes. Now, current odds on this, the Dallas Stars coming in as a huge favorite at minus 225. Plus 184 here for the Arizona Coyotes, in total 6.5, minus 108 to the over, minus 112 to the under. How much can we trust Jake Ottinger is my biggest question mark in this game. Jake Ottinger hasn't looked like himself after coming back from injury. His goals against average on the season is a solid 3 and an 897 save percentage. I can't trust him here, especially with Arizona in Mullet Arena digging deep. Now, Connor Ingram has had the stronger season, and that's hard to believe when we would look at Ottinger versus Ingram. But Ingram rolls in here with a 2.87 goals against average and a 908 save percentage. His save shots on goal prop is 27.5 to the over at minus 125, and I will be hitting Connor Ingram there. I do think he has every possibility of having a strong game because we know the Dallas Stars offensively, this team is solid. They're going to be getting those shots. The Arizona Coyotes, while they have a strong power play, and so do the Dallas Stars, the Coyotes don't give their goaltenders a lot of protection, allowing those shots to come in. So I think even if the Dallas Stars win here, Connor Ingram can go over 27.5 save shots on goal. I'm going to play some player props in this one. I do think it's a higher scoring game, because we know the Dallas Stars could still score 5 goals and Connor Ingram could go over this. I'm expecting at least 36 shots on net by the Dallas Stars. So an easy one for Connor Ingram to the over, even if the Dallas Stars still score 5. And we get 2 out of the Arizona Coyotes, we push to that over. I expect more like 3 goals out of the Arizona Coyotes in this one, pushing us nicely over that total of 6.5. Now, the over 6.5, again, that is coming in at minus 108. And I will be cashing on that, hopefully cashing on that. So we look at the players. I'm going to circle here. Clayton Keller, we know we have to circle for the Arizona Coyotes. His anytime goal coming in at plus 190. He's been absolutely fire. He's had a goal in his last 4 games. Longer shot here for the Coyotes is Logan Cooley. You guys know how much faith I have in Logan Cooley. He's coming in at plus 340. I think he can definitely have an opportunity to hit Jake Ottinger with how weak Jake Ottinger has been in goals. So I love both of those players for the Arizona Coyotes at home in Mullet Arena. And then when we look at the Dallas Stars, Wyatt Johnston has been quiet in his last 2 games. His anytime goals coming in at plus 220. Before those last 2 games, he was able to score a goal in the 4 games prior. So I do think the value on Wyatt Johnston here coming in at plus 220 to score on Connor Ingram is for sure there. And then Jason Robinson, we know how phenomenally strong he has been for the Dallas Stars. His 2+ points today is coming in at plus 230. He's been able to hit that in his last 2 games. Now I just want to look at another longer shot here of Chris Tanev for his points before I forget to give that to you. I'm wondering if we can get him at 1+ point with any value, and we're not able to. If the 2+ points, he's not even listed for the 2+ points. I want to see then if we can get him for the anytime goal scorer, you guys, and see what that is coming in at. Because I do think there is an opportunity, especially versus the Arizona Coyotes. It will provide a lot of opportunities for the Dallas Stars to be able to score. And I'm not seeing it there, so I'm not going to hold you guys. But if you do see it with some good value, I would be looking at that. But, oh, there he is, Chris Tanev at plus 1,300 for the anytime goal. I would have liked to get his points, but I do think it's worth a little bit of a sprinkle. You look at the Arizona Coyotes defense, they're not going to provide that resistance. So I like looking at some longer shots in these situations. And I do think it's going to be a big day for the Dallas Stars, but I do think Connor Ingram can still go over his numbers. Let's look at the Tampa Bay Lightnings taking on the Anaheim Ducks. Now, a couple ways you can go with this one. I love the Lightning to come in here strong, and so do the books. The Tampa Bay Lightning at minus 235, the Anaheim Ducks at plus 190. Total 6.5, minus 114 to the over, and minus 106 to the under. Second night of a back-to-back here by the Tampa Bay Lightning, coming off the overtime loss to the LA Kings. That hurt them 4-3. They're sitting fourth in the Atlantic, and you know they're fighting so hard for this wild card spot. We have the Anaheim Ducks sitting seventh in the Pacific. This Ducks team is a team that I can't trust. I can't trust them to score in this matchup, but we do have a backup goaltender in for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So the team total of the Ducks is 2.5. I still don't think they go over this team total at minus 108. To the under, I'm willing to hit it. I don't trust the Ducks offensively. Dostal is expected in net for the Anaheim Ducks today. He's got a 3.46 goals against average and a 901 save percentage. When I'm looking here, I don't trust the Ducks, but would I rather just play on the Tampa Bay Lightning because I do trust this team? That's where I'm going to go. So when we look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, they have the best power play in the league, converting at 29.4%. I do think you start looking at some players for their power play points. So I'm looking for a strong night, especially off that loss. If they were off a win last night versus the Kings, I might be a little hesitant here. But off that loss, with how they're chasing a wild card spot, you need to look at the Tampa Bay Lightning and a way to make money on them today. The over 3.5 on their team total, I can't hit. It's at minus 148, and that's why I started looking at the Ducks team total to the under. But again, I trust the Lightning way more. The Lightning in the first period on the puck line laying a half goals plus 120. That looks easy for this team to be able to come out, score on Dostal, and then protect their lead. Now, their defense hasn't been as strong on the road as it has been at home. But again, I can't trust the Ducks offensively. So I don't think both of these teams will score in that first period. I could see, even though the Tampa Bay Lightning scoring 2 goals in the first period, winning that first period nicely. The puck line for the full game, laying the half of goals, coming in at plus 105. I do think they can cover the puck line for the full game in this one. This game is way too important for this team to lay down and let the Ducks do anything offensively in this. But who do I trust the most out there on the ice for the Tampa Bay Lightning? It's Nikita Kucherov. You guys know that. You can take him for the 1+ points today. That's coming in at minus 110. Remember, again, he is in a battle with Nathan MacKinnon of the Colorado Avalanche for the leader of the points on the season. So the 1+ points at minus 110, you can ladder him up 2+ points. You're not getting great value there, but the 3+ points you're getting at plus 285. And against Dostal and the Anaheim Ducks, I am looking for him to come out phenomenally strong. Now let's look at him for the anytime goal as well. And you could circle Stamkos. I think Stamkos has a great day, and Braden Point. The anytime goal for Nikita Kucherov at plus 105. Braden Point at plus 120, and Stamkos at plus 165. Now, if you're looking to go deeper in the lineup, Anthony Dunclair here of the Tampa Bay Lightning, he's coming in at plus 260, and I do think that is a good long shot to go with Anthony Dunclair. We know he can find the back of the net. Again, I don't trust the Ducks, but if I was to trust anyone on the Ducks, it would be Leo Carlsson. The value for him to get a goal is plus 370, but I'm not going to touch it in this one. If you're looking at those power play points, like I said, the Tampa Bay Lightning, best power play in the league. The Anaheim Ducks have a terrible kill, and they spend almost the most time of any team in the penalty box. So the ability of the Tampa Bay Lightning to cash on the power play is there. You've got Nikita Kucherov here at minus 110. Steven Stamkos at plus 170 for that power play point. So going down the list, Braden Point holds value at plus 170 for the power play point as well. And Victor Hedman at plus 170. I probably wouldn't go with Hedman here. I'd go with Braden Point for the power play point instead of Hedman. But Stamkos at plus 170 has value as well. Let's get this money. That is for sure. Pittsburgh 4-2. I like that. It is good to see. I can't believe we got all those quick goals. So if you jumped on the Avs plus that 2.5, you're sitting in a good position right now. Yeah, those power play points. Let's cash them today. End of the second, we got a live total of 8.5 in that one. The problem with that 8.5 is minus 162 to the over. We've got 6 goals already. Man, this is going to be a tight one. Colorado, so strong on their home ice. We know that this team definitely can come out here and tie this one up. So I wouldn't be taking the under at all. If you like the Avs to come all the way back, you guys, you're going to get that at plus 390 on the money line. I do think this would be a nice hedging position at plus 390 to take Colorado in this one. Let me know who got those goals, if Nathan MacKinnon has been able to get those points on the board, because I am writing Nathan MacKinnon for the 2+ points as well, you guys. Appreciate the update on that while we were talking about these other games. Now, the last 2 games on the board, I don't love, you guys. We got the Montreal Canadiens taking on the Seattle Kraken and the Buffalo Sabres taking on the Calgary Flames. Now, Calgary's dominated the matchup versus the Buffalo Sabres, but the problem here is Calgary was in Vancouver last night. They lost 4-2 in Vancouver last night, had to travel back home. We know the Buffalo Sabres, their last game, they played the Edmonton Oilers. They have been sitting in Alberta since Thursday, so they've been in Calgary waiting for the Calgary Flames to return last night from that road trip. They lost to Edmonton 8-3 on Thursday night. This team should come out and put up a battle versus the Calgary Flames, even though Calgary's dominated this matchup. Looking at Langhagen in net for the Buffalo Sabres, he has been strong ever since December. He's had some really strong performances. We look at him versus the Seattle Kraken. He stopped 32 of 34 shots on goal. He did get a shutout win versus the Islanders, as my dog just jumps down and shakes there. Apologies. Versus the Islanders a couple games ago. So he has every ability to come out strong. Now, Dustin Wolf will be in goal for the Calgary Flames. He has had some great performances as of late, but we have seen him just get picked apart by teams as well. And how the Buffalo Sabres, Wittag Thompson, Jeff Skinner, Alex Tuck love to come in waves offensively and so strong. I do think this is a game where he'll absolutely have to stand on his head for this one to stay under that total. The last 3 matchups between these teams have gone to that over, but I do think this is one where I like what we've seen out of Wolf, and I like what we've seen out of Langhagen in some of these games as of late. And as long as one of these goalies doesn't come out weak in this one, we should see it stay under the total. I think it's just under that total, 4-2 style game here. Now, it's a bad scheduling spot, I think, for Calgary on the second night of a back-to-back, having been in Vancouver last night. I do like the Sabres here to be able to come out strong. So the odds in this one, I can find it here. Just give me a second. -125 for the Sabres. I would be hitting on that. It's +104 for the Calgary Flames. If you think that second night of a back-to-back isn't going to be too stressful on them here coming home off of Vancouver, you get the +104. I just don't trust them, you guys. The under 6.5 is -118. That is where my money will be going. And I know there's so many playmakers, and Calgary lacks that defense, but I do trust in Dustin Wolf. We look at Dustin Wolf. He's got a 3.25 goals against average and an 8.97 save percentage. He was so elite, though, versus Vegas in that game, stopping 28 of 29 shots on goal. Versus Montreal, he stopped 36 of 38, and versus the Washington Capitals, he stopped 28 of 32. So I'm going to have a little faith in both of these goaltenders to keep it under that total. I know there's playmakers on both sides. And then the Montreal Canadiens and the Seattle Kraken. One team has to win. That is a positive here. The Seattle Kraken -164 at home, +136 for Montreal. Total is 5.5, -115 to the over, -105 to the under. I'm going to take Montreal. Give me the plus money with Montreal. I can't trust either of these teams, but I really do like what we've seen out of Premierou. And he is confirmed here for the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal is never giving up in these games, and they're fighting for their pride, for their head coach that is sadly away from the team right now with a family emergency. So looking at the Seattle Kraken, they've lost their last 7. They are sitting 6th in the Pacific. And I think this team has mentally checked out of the game. Now, Jordan Eberle and Jared McCann still are fighting, but the rest of the team, Grubauer, I can't trust either. I think they mailed this one in. So give me plus money on Montreal. I wouldn't go big on this, but I do think they can get things done. I also like the first period under 1.5. Premierou and Grubauer, I think, will do enough to keep it lower scoring in that first period. That's coming in at -116. But like I said, these last 2 games on the board are not the prettiest. That is for sure. Just 4 shots on goal for Nathan MacKinnon. Nathan MacKinnon needs to get back on track. I see a big third period there for Nathan MacKinnon. So if we can get Nathan MacKinnon to get his points, I tell you, that would definitely be nice. Okay, so That's it, you guys. Again, apologies for the camera. That autofocus is driving me absolutely insane. I can see myself out the corner of this eye, and I'm going to lose my mind. Just checking odds right now, current scores on that Pittsburgh Penguins and Colorado Avalanche game. Again, 4-2 going into the third period. Live total still sitting at 8.5 at -162 to the over, +126 to the under. I would expect this one to go over that total because I do believe that Colorado could be able to tie this up. Now, this game to go to overtime, if Colorado is able to tie this up, +420 to go to overtime, sign me up all day long. I do think this is going to be that tight of a game. When we look at these two teams versus each other, the Pittsburgh Penguins have played Colorado really tight. They've won the last 3 meetings. They got the shutout win in the last one, 4-0, but that was with Tristan Jarry in goal. So I do think Colorado, who has been absolute fire on their home ice, best offensive scoring team on their home ice in the league, should be able to tie this one back up. So the Pittsburgh Penguins team total over 2.5 is nicely cashed if you rode with me with that. Could the Penguins still win this one in overtime? Absolutely. But I do think Colorado has every chance of tying this up. So +420 to go overtime. We're also looking at the Colorado Avalanche +1.5 at +126. That is an absolute gift out there, you guys. And +390 for Colorado to win this, I think is a nice hedging position, because if you take them +390 right now, if you already don't have a bet in the game, and then we are able to go to overtime. Like I said, the Pittsburgh Penguins will be the dog going into OT. I 100% believe that, because Colorado is at home. We will see the odds like we did pregame going into this, in which case the Pittsburgh Penguins were +190 pregame going into this on that money line. So I think you could hedge off your position and then take the Pittsburgh Penguins with the plus money and middle that bet. So you guys, all the best in all of your bets. I appreciate each and every one of you for being there. Yeah, Pimu coming in, and that's why I like that under 1.5 in the first period. He's been absolutely fire. I can't believe his shutout win he was able to get. Just, I love seeing these younger goaltenders be able to have such strong days like that. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice. We'll be back tomorrow with another Pocket with Joe. Only 2 games, though. So let me know if you just want a Pocket Cup of Joe, because I can do that instead of the live show. Let me know what you guys are thinking. But all the best in March Madness. Fantastic games going on. Let me know how your brackets are doing. I was just looking to see if we've got any updates out there on the hardwood, any of these games. Purdue is beating Utah State right now, 49-33. That is good to see. Purdue, I have moving on in my bracket here. I didn't bet it otherwise. I just got it within my bracket. So let me know how your brackets are doing as well, you guys. All the best in all of your bets. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye, guys.